This video is sponsored by Simba Tasker. Complete your routine tasks faster and smarter. The Rhodesian dollar notes were slightly altered following the establishment of Zimbabwe Rhodesia, which was a short-lived unrecognized sovereign state that existed from the 1st of June 1979 to the 18th of April 1980, which was led by Abel Muzorewa, Josiah Gumede, and Ian Smith. Though it lacked international recognition, the design of the notes remained the same. The only difference was Cecil John Rhodes' watermark was replaced with the Zimbabwe bird. Now, following the independence of Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwean dollar was introduced in 1980 to directly replace the Rhodesian dollar. Now, the first batch of notes were issued on the 15th of April 1981 to 14th of April 1982. Now, these included a $2 note, which was blue in color, and it featured the balancing rocks of Epworth, a feature that was on previous Rhodesian era notes, an image of Cape Buffalo. All the notes were signed by Desmond Krog, who was the interim governor till 1983. The notes also were written Salisbury 1980. This was later changed. The note also featured an image of the Zimbabwean bird watermark, just like previous Rhodesian era notes. On the reverse side of the note featured an image of the Kariba Dam and a tiger fish. The $5 note was green in color, and it featured a zebra and the balancing rocks of Epworth, and the same features on the $2 notes. On the reverse side, it featured farm workers in a village. The $10 note was red in color, and it featured sable antelope, and the same features as the other notes. On the reverse side, it featured the eternal flame at the National Heroes Acre, and the city of Harare in the background. The $20 note was blue in color, and it featured a giraffe to indicate how long you had to work to earn it. Just kidding. On the reverse side, it featured an elephant and the Victoria Falls, which was also on previous Rhodesian notes. Now, at the time of its introduction, the Zimbabwean dollar was worth more than the US dollar. In the official exchange market, one Zimbabwean dollar was $1.47 US. In 1983, Kombo James Moyana was appointed governor of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, and from that year, the newly printed notes bore his signature till 1993, and Salisbury was changed to Harare on the notes in 1982. In 1993, Leonard Tsumba was appointed governor of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. The banknotes briefly bore his signature. Now, the value of the Zimbabwean dollar began to erode significantly from August 1991 onwards. Originally, this was because of the Economic Structural Adjustment Program, ESAP, which had been initiated by the International Monetary Fund. Like they always have good ideas. It's during this time that Zimbabweans were introduced to yellow maize for the first time, known as Kenya. In 1992, inflation peaked at 42.1%. Now, it's on this backdrop that in 1994, the second series of Zimbabwean notes were issued, including two new denominations of the $50 and $100 note. The $50 note was issued in March 1994 to complement the existing set of notes. It was olive green in color, and it featured the balancing rocks, the flame lily flower, the rhinos. On the reverse, it featured the Great Zimbabwe Ruins and the Zimbabwe bird. In January 1995, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe issued the $100 note, which was purple in color, and it featured the balancing rocks of Epworth with trees, a protea flower, and elephants, which were mirrored on the other side. On the reverse side, it features the Kariba Dam Wall. Due to inflation, in 1997, the $2 note was replaced with a coin. We used to call it Kapangolin for obvious reasons. A new $5 note was issued. It was pink in color, and all the notes borrowed some features from previous notes, including the balancing rocks and the Zimbabwe bird watermark, albeit with a longer neck. The note featured a royal disotis and kudus. On the reverse side of the note was Mount Inyangani. A new $10 note was also issued. It had similar features with other notes in this series. The only difference was that it was green in color, and it featured the Sabi star flower and sable antelopes, which were mirrored on the reverse side as well. On the reverse side were images of the Chilojo cliffs with birds. A blue $20 note was also issued. It featured a pimpernel flower and Cape buffaloes. On the reverse side was an image of the Victoria Falls. Now, Zimbabwe faced serious economic challenges which led to widespread poverty and unemployment, combined with the $50,000 payments to war veterans, resulted in a major currency crash on the 14th of November 1997. The day is referred to as Black Friday. The Zimbabwe dollar crashed about 71% in a single day against the US dollar. The stock market lost nearly 46% of its value in one session. This was the beginning of the rapid decline of the Zimbabwean dollar. In 2001, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, under Leonard Tsumba, issued a $500 note, which was red in color, and it featured similar features as the other notes, the only difference being it had a holographic strip as a security feature. It also had a bitter apple flower and zebras, which were mirrored. On the reverse, it had the Hwange power station. In 2003, a new $500 note was issued. It was brown in color, and it featured the same features as the previous note, except the holographic strip was removed. A $1,000 note was also issued in the same year, and it featured a bauhinia flower, a holographic strip, and mirrored giraffes. On the reverse side, it had 3 African elephants. Simba Tasker. This is a platform that connects Zimbabwean businesses and sellers. You can sign up as a business or as a service seeker. What makes Simba Tasker worthwhile is that every seller and corporate can be rated by customers, ensuring that only the best companies remain on the platform. And for the customer, convenience and peace of mind. You can download Simba Tasker on Android and iOS. There's also a web version as well, link in the description if you want to check it out. In May 2003, the Reserve Bank allowed the Cargill Cotton Group to issue emergency bearer checks to cotton farmers via a Standard Chartered Bank branch in Harare. Cargill issued these checks due to a shortage of money caused by high annual inflation, which according to the Herald was around 269% in June 2003. The Cargill bearer checks had the same legal status as regular banknotes and were valid for 6 months from the date of issue, making them the first Zimbabwean currency notes with an expiry date. Typo Crafters, a Zimpaper subsidiary, printed these bearer checks, which carried the signature of Cargill's Finance Director Priscilla Mutembwa and Operations Director Stephen Newton-Howes. Shortly after that, Leonard Tsumba stepped down as governor of the RBZ following criticism of the currency shortage which was plaguing Zimbabwe. In his place, Charles Chikaura became acting governor from June 2003 to December 2003. During his tenure, he oversaw the issuance of the first bearer checks, an idea they had taken from the Cargill bearer checks. He issued the 5,000, 10,000, and 20,000 checks which entered into circulation on the 26th of September 2003, the $50,000 purple note and the $100,000 green note. In November 2003, Gideon Gono was appointed governor of the Reserve Bank. He oversaw the issuance of the same notes bearing his signature. The Zimbabwean dollar was first redenominated on the 1st of August 2006 under a currency reform campaign codenamed Operation Sunrise, involving the motto Zero to Hero. New style bearer checks of the second dollar were introduced and replaced those of the first dollar at a rate of 1,000 to 1. The 2006 bearer checks series went into circulation on the 1st of August 2006 and initially consisted of 14 denominations ranging from 1 cent to $100,000. The checks were signed by Dr. Gideon Gono and were set to expire on the 31st of July 2007, except for the $100 and $500 checks which were initially due to expire on the 31st of December 2007, but later extended to the 31st of July 2008. The 1 cent note was red in color with the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe seal and the denomination. And on the reverse side was the value within a ring. The design was similar across all notes. All these notes were withdrawn on the 31st of July 2007. The 2007 bearer check series was first issued on the 2nd of March 2007, with the introduction of the 5,000 and 50,000 checks to act as an intermediary denominations between the 1,000 and the $10,000 and the $100,000 checks respectively. Now, as inflation intensified, the $200,000 bearer check was also introduced on the 1st of August 2007. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe subsequently introduced 3 notes at once: the $250,000, the $500,000 and the $750,000 denominations on the 20th of December 2007. The $200,000 bearer check had its date of lapse extended twice to 31 December 2008. The circulation of the 2008 bearer check series commenced on the 18th of January 2008 with 3 denominations ranging from 1 million to 10 million. Due to the high rate of inflation, on the 4th of April 2008, the 25 million, the 50 million bearer checks were issued. On the 6th of May, 2 more notes were issued, the 100 million and the 250 million. On the 15th of May 2008, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe issued a $500 million note, which was red in color and featured a tiger fish. On the same day, the governor of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe issued special agro checks. 3 denominations of the 2008 series remained legal tender at a ratio of 1,000 to 1 until being demonetized on the 31st of December 2008. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe circulated special agro checks, agro being an abbreviation of agriculture, from the 15th of May to the 31st of July 2008. They had a different design and they were intended for use only by farmers, in quotes. However, Zimbabweans treated them as regular money because of the continued hyperinflation, and they had similar function to bearer checks. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe demonetized both agro and bearer checks on the 31st of December 2009, following the introduction of the third dollar. The 2007 banknote series was prepared by the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe in October 2006 for the abandoned second phase of Operation Sunrise, which did not materialize due to economic challenges and high inflation. When the redenomination on the 1st of August 2008 occurred, these notes were put into circulation as banknotes of the third dollar between the 1st of August 2008 and the 31st of December 2008. The $1 note had the balancing rocks of Epworth and the Zimbabwe bird watermark. All the notes in this series had the same features on the obverse side. The only difference was on the reverse side. And on the $1 note, there was the Victoria Falls and Cape Buffalo. The 2008 banknote series circulated from the 29th of September 2008 to the 12th of April 2009. The series demonstrated the intensity of hyperinflation during the period as the highest denomination increased from 1,000 to 100 trillion. By January 2009, the latter being the largest denomination issued by the Reserve Bank. The first issues of the series were the $10,000 and $20,000 denominations. They were followed by the following denominations: $50,000 on the 13th of October 2008, $100,000 and $500,000 and $1 million on the 3rd of November 2008, $10 million, $50 million and $100 million on the 4th of December 2008, at $200 million and $500 million on the 12th of December 2008, $1 billion, $5 billion and $10 billion notes on the 19th of December 2008, at $20 billion, $50 billion on the 12th of January 2009, $10 trillion, $20 trillion, $50 trillion and $100 trillion on the 16th of January 2009. All these notes were eventually withdrawn by the 16th of January 2009. On the 2nd of February 2009, the Reserve Bank introduced banknotes of the fourth dollar, equal to $1 trillion. The banknotes of the third dollar were supposed to lose legal tender status by the 1st of July 2009, but the power-sharing government of the late Prime Minister Morgan Tsvangirai instead suspended the Zimbabwean dollar entirely on the 12th of April 2009. The banknotes, along with those of the third dollar, were eventually demonetized on the 30th of September 2015 after 6 years and 171 days of disuse. Zimbabweans were using a multi-currency regime which included the US dollar, the South African rands, and many others. Now, Gideon Gono stepped down on the 30th of November 2013 after 10 years at the RBZ. Charity Dliwayo was acting governor from 2013 to 2014, where John Mangudya assumed office as the RBZ governor. When the ZANU-PF government won the elections in 2018, they issued $10 million worth of Zimbabwean bond notes, which were introduced in November 2016 and were denominated in US dollars, starting with the $2 bond note, which was green in color, and it featured an eternal flame and the old parliament, and it had the Zimbabwe bird as a watermark. On the 3rd of February 2017, a $5 note which was purple in color was issued. It had 3 giraffes and the Zimbabwean aloe on the reverse. On the 11th of November 2019, new banknotes, the $2 and $5 note, were issued, without the words bond note. On the 15th of May 2020, the RBZ announced the introduction of the $10 and $20 notes into circulation. On the 6th of July 2021, the $50 note was issued. It was the first note to carry a portrait of a person since the Rhodesian days. A $100 note was also issued on the 5th of April 2022. It was yellow in color, and it featured an African baobab tree and the Great Zimbabwe ruins. All these notes were withdrawn on the 30th of April 2024. John Mangudya was replaced by John Mushayavanu as the governor of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. And on the 28th of March 2024, he immediately oversaw the introduction of the Zimbabwe gold notes, known as ZiG. Originally established at $2.50 ZiG to $1, the ZiG began trading on the 8th of April at an exchange rate of $13.56 ZiG to $1. So the $10 and $20 ZiG denominations are currently in circulation. At the time of posting this, Zimbabwe has plans of de-dollarizing by the year 2030, leaving the ZiG as the sole currency. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment below. I'll see you in the next video.